Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and in this one we are going to go over a solid build for Zane. He's the Operative class, has a ton of perks, and is honestly one of the best characters to be using, one of the best classes to be using in Borderlands, because he's got a lot of perks and stuff. Like, a lot of his things when you're looking through here have to do with buffing damage and his shield, which are two of the most important things in the game. I mean, obviously damage is important, but also having that shield over health. There's a lot of, different things for different characters that buff their health, but that's not really the most helpful, considering that shields are way more helpful. You can find a bunch of different ones and you often have more shield than health. And again, Zane has a ton of buffs for those, and not only that, he also gets 2 skills and a bunch of other stuff that you can add to it as well. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Again, this is just a solid overall build for doing well against like bosses and stuff like that. So yeah, let's start off with this first section right here, the Hitman section. So if you go ahead and equip that to like slot 1, that is your Sentinel, which is like the flying drone type thing. And it's got some machine guns, duration 24 seconds, cooldown 60 seconds, which is pretty solid. And then you can press F or G or whatever the button is to target specific enemies, which is definitely helpful for dealing extra damage. However, when you start to get into these things, this is where it starts to get even more interesting. So first of all, this right here, increased gun damage, you want to pretty much purchase every single one of those, and you can get that up to 20% at default walk speed, which obviously is very helpful. If you're moving around, you can deal 20% extra damage, which is super helpful. Now after that, you can also go ahead and get this. This is just to help us get down to the bottom. It's not the most interesting, but 43% weapon swap speed is definitely something that can help out. Let's go ahead and zoom in just a little bit there. After that, then you want to get this right here, which is simply Sentinel can drop a free grenade. Based on the current grenade mod that you have, that can be helpful. And of course, reload speed over here, you want to max that out, because you also then get the kill skill of plus 17% after each one. So that in itself is super helpful, and you can also equip this at the time if you want. That's not the one you actually want to use. You actually want to use these two over here. So equip that to slot 1, equip that to slot 2. This one is great because it emits a static field that sends a shock beam to nearby enemies, draining their shields and replenishing Zane. So not only does it, get rid of opponents' shields, which is very helpful if you're not using a shock weapon at the moment, but it also replenishes your shield, which again is always good. And then also you've got the missile barrage, which is fine. Nothing crazy, but extra damage always can help. And then going back to the main tree, you've got this thing right here, which is all of Zane's kill skills gain increased effect in duration, which is obviously, very helpful. After that, then you don't want to go for this one right here because, it's not really that useful. After killing an enemy, the next 5 shots all have a chance to fire an additional projectile, but only 5 shots, and after eliminating an enemy, especially if you're fighting a boss, that's not the most useful. So instead, go for this one right over here and max it out, because after eliminating an enemy, you gain increased fire rate for a few seconds. Not the most amazing thing, but again, you're trying to get down to this bottom one right here. So purchase these next 3, as you can see, and it should unlock the bottom one. And this one's actually very good as well because it increases the action skill duration. And then the one that you get down here, the one that's maxed out, is activating your action skill, or activating an action skill, automatically activates all of the kill skills. So all of these ones right here that say kill skill at the start of them or somewhere else in there, I believe there's like 10 of them, you get every single one. So that's also why I didn't choose to select like this one up here or this one down here, because if you're using your action skills, I'm pretty sure how it works is you'll have those anyways. So yeah, and then you've got a couple of other things that you can mix and match as well. You can feel free to customize this a little bit. But let's move on to the next tree right here. This is the one for the Undercover. Now this is super important because it's a barrier, a shield barrier, and also has a lot of effects to, well, shield. So equip that right there, and you can also see that shooting through the barrier will help you deal increased damage. So that's very helpful as well. But then starting it out here, you basically want to get all of these top 5. These are all super helpful because like the first of which right here, gain increased maximum shield capacity. You definitely want that. Plus 30% to all shields is amazing. Actually, I would recommend maybe starting out with this one if you're early on and making your character, and then maybe move on to some of this other stuff because that max shield can help you out early on. But on top of that, this right here is simply a cooldown rate. So get that max and you get up to 35% cooldown rate based on your shield. So that's super helpful as well. And then over here, improved shield recharge rate and recharge delay is super helpful. Plus 30% for the rate, and then minus 29% for the delay is, again, very helpful. Buffs your shields a lot, so can't go wrong with that. Then you want to purchase these ones in the middle because it's damage resistance against any damage type. That is just, super helpful in general. For obvious reasons. You've also got this over here, which isn't the most amazing thing because it has to do with movement speed, so I would instead maybe go for this one right here for the health regeneration and reload speed and greatly improved shield recharge delay while near the barrier. Again, pairing that with this one right here, not that one, it's this this one up here, that's a very big buff to the recharge delay. So you definitely want that. And then you also want this one right here. Zane's barrier becomes a dome, meaning you don't have to like focus it on one specific area. Super helpful. However, it does increase the cooldown by 20%. So something to keep in mind, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. Then obviously you want to go right here and pick this up. While Zane's shields are active, he gains increased gun damage and accuracy, and up to 20% gun damage is definitely very helpful. And then for the two more that I want to go through here, we will do one in this tree. I don't like this tree a ton. We'll talk about that a little bit, but then you want to finish off this one simply with a couple elemental status effects. Have reduced duration. 50% reduced duration is helpful. And then Zane also gains resistance to non-elemental damage by using this one. So, you know, that can definitely be helpful for avoiding elemental damage, which can deal a lot of damage to you. And then moving on to the final tree. Again, we only have 3 points left, and you can put that in either this one right here or this one over here, or honestly just put them wherever you want. Personally, I would go for this one right here because you obviously get increased gun damage when you're using an action skill, so more damage is definitely a good thing. And we can't quite max it out because we have all our skill points in other areas, but I mean, you could maybe switch out these two or one of these two if you wanted for more damage, but I think 12% is fine. So yeah, that's my recommended build for this, and I also don't really like the clone that much, but on top of that, I don't really like a ton of the stuff in this tree. There's some good stuff, but again, you get pretty much all of these kill skills that you have with this one down here, so you really don't need like that one right there or this one up here. And I'm looking through these other ones, and again, there's just nothing sticks out to me as being like super helpful, especially compared to the amazing like shield and damage buffs over here. So yeah, guys, again, there's my build for Zane. Let me know what you think about it down below in the comments. I'm also doing these for the other characters, so be sure to check them out. I'll leave them as a card and in the link in the description below. Subscribe for more fun videos for Borderlands 3, guys. This game is so hyped. Gotta love it. And without further ado, guys, I will see you in the next one.